What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Veterans Day, and I'm going to be talking about and giving my respect to veterans across the country, in the world, perhaps. But I'm also wanting to take a little bit to kind of bring a little nuance to this day, things that I don't think we all that not doesn't necessarily come up or be thought of, I think. And also a part of this day that I'm seeing some use as a way of arguing for more and more, not only veterans, but more and more reason for war and stuff like that to go, going forward, as if that is why veterans fought in the first place. And I want to push back on that a little bit. Some of the stuff that I may say here might seem at first controversial. Even afterwards, it might still be controversial for some. But I want you to really listen. I want you to listen to it and hold. Don't just take something and then stop listening and paint me in a way that I'm not meaning. Listen to it in whole and take it and really think about it critically. Before just immediately coming at me. Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about here. Thank you very much for joining me. All right. First off, if you are new here, welcome to ClearTalk. If you would like to check out more videos after this, please do so. Consider subscribing, like, all that good stuff helps out the channel, helps out bringing more videos to more people, getting more interaction, positive and negative, whichever one is fine. If you'd like to check out more videos from other channels, please do so. Drummer, play, puzzling, that would be amazing. Consider subscribing to those if you like what you see there. We are almost at 100. I want to point out we are almost at 100 subscribers here on ClearTalk, and that is amazing. Even the past few days, it has grown quite a bit, and I'm very thankful that you are interested, and that you are wanting to engage and become a part, of this growing group here, to talk and to have conversation. Whether you agree or disagree, that's fine. I think it's great, and I'm very excited for the future of this channel, along with the other channels, and continuing to grow and hopefully having good conversation and trying to understand each other, I guess, maybe better a little bit, in different areas. So thank you very much for that. It'd be awesome, reaching 100. It'd be awesome reaching further. 200, 400, 500, 1,000. That would be amazing. But 100 is fantastic, and we're very close. And I hope that this video does not mess that up. Okay. Thank you very much. And if you want to give any kind of support, there's support links there. Yeah. I'm not going to hit too hard on that on this video. It is that big a deal. But if you are returning, you're freaking amazing. And thank you very much. I say that every time, and I mean it. Okay. You're amazing. You are reason why you are a part of JMD Nation. Okay. You're what makes JMD Nation. So thank you very much. All right. All that out of the way. First and foremost, up front, right off the bat, okay, I want to show the utmost and give the utmost respect and honor and love to our veterans across the country, across the world, wherever you are. Those living, those who are no longer with us, I think I find it very much honorable and respectful to engage and decide to join um, a military, no matter if it's the United States or any country for that matter, uh, especially if you're doing so in the way of your intentions to keep that nation safe, okay? To keep that nation respectful uh, within its own laws and constitution and reasons in respect internationally amongst other nations. I completely give the utmost respect for that. And those who hold to that and regard and the, those who lost their lives or have come back with, um, ailments, whether they, psychologically, mentally, physically, emotionally, all things that unfortunately can and do hinder them the rest of their life. Um, and they did that with the most honorable intents. And most, if not all, I truly believe and feel have done that, and I think that is amazing. Okay, um, whether or not I agreed or agree with the reasons why, as a citizen, um, or even you agreed or disagreed with reasons why, even if you were told reasons that were ultimately come to find out those were not those reasons, okay, I still have the utmost respect for you, uh, because oftentimes I feel that to some degree in our past, more so, more recent, modern times than earlier, but uh, that people were led into doing into becoming a part of the military, into engaging in actions, being deployed off for reasons that are not exactly transparent or truthful or honorable, but they themselves are being honorable in doing it for the reasons that they were believed to have been done. And I completely understand that. Um, and I don't hold any of them to blame for misconceptions and why they were sent to do so. Okay. And that seems I'm trying to be I'm trying to be like respectful in the way I say that. But I have the most respect for the individuals. Okay. Um, and I hate that some of them were sent in the in the name of things that I don't agree or that were not the exact reasons why. Um, and they, came back from that in a way that was, um, quite frankly, unacceptable, or even, lost their lives due to it. And that, um, and I feel that's something when you think back across all of history, all war, all militant type actions throughout history, there's always a blanket of that where, was it really done for the reasons that we were told? Was it done for the right reasons? Or were they just thought of as the right reasons in that moment, but later we kind of in hindsight think, all these kinds of, that's all a part of that. But I respect the veterans themselves, and honor them in that. And I think that that's what this day truly should really be about, is solely honoring those veterans and the fact that they were willing to give their lives or willing to sacrifice themselves for a purpose that they were told for, whether it was right or not. And I think that's fantastic. But I think that there is a part of this day that's used by some to, and I know I'm taking so long to get this out. There's a part of this day that is used by some where I feel that this day is used in this kind of overt, overly patriotic, like veil of pride, and used in a way that we are more praising the actions, like we're more praising the war, the effects of that war, or the actions in that war, than we are the people who actually did it. And I feel that's something that even and being used to propagate for a continuation of those types of actions and the future of war. And being used as the argument for, like, enlarging and continuing to embrace the idea of America being the biggest, the baddest, the strongest, the most violent, the most aggressive, the most vicious and undisputed, like, strength in the world, like, and being used in a way where it's being, like, pushed as if veterans and people that fought in our history, as if that's what they fought for, was for us to continue to be this massive and continue on in war after war, and present and into the future. And I feel that is, like, very much grotesque. Just like today. Today, there was a ceremony held at the White House. I think it was at the White House. I didn't really pay attention, but I think it was. Where there was a couple of speakers. J.D. Vance even spoke for a small moment, and then Trump got up and spoke. And while most of his speech, most of it, was very well, was crafted in a way of respecting veterans and pointing out veterans in remembrance and acknowledgement. Certainly crafted by someone other than him. He still took a moment to talk about something that he previously brought up and was a controversy back in May, about the victories of war days, where he had seen other countries were celebrating the victories of World War II and the victories of World War I on specific days, and he didn't understand why the United States didn't do so. One of those days was like May the 8th, if I'm not mistaken, and the other was today. Where then he stated about changing these days, or he was making a proclamation that these days should be called like Victory Days. Victory Day of World War II and Victory Day of World War I. Respectively, May 8th and November 11th. And it was brought up immediately on him that we already have, and he was saying that these should be federal days. And it was brought up to him that we already have November 11th as a day, and that's Veterans Day. And it was a lot of pushback on the fact that this is already a day. It is set aside specifically to honor veterans. And while there is sort of this undertone of celebrating that the end of World War I, the point though is more on the reason why it's called Veterans Day is more on those who survived and also respecting those who's lost their lives for that. Not on the victories themselves, not on our military might or our military accomplishments. And while I think some felt that was sort of, in that moment, kind of squashed in a realization made by him and his administration, or by him, because I think it was solely him. Even today, though, he still, in his speech, brought up this proclamation by him. And he was proclaiming again that it should be Victory Day. Victory Day of World War I. And that it should be remembered as that. On top of Veterans Day. Like, if it was more important for him to proclaim that, to bring that up, than it was just accepting that this day has already been applied. And it's something that we've celebrated for decades now in respect of our veterans. And I bring this up not as a way of trying to just find something to attack Trump on. I bring this up because there is a sentiment that I feel is in a section of the population that senses this, that is more actually concerned in the actions, using this day as a way of celebrating the actions we took and we have taken since, and as an excuse to continue that, because even J.D. Vance himself also, in his speech, talked about the reasoning behind it. Come across to me as it's like a reasoning behind celebrating veterans, or in respect or remembrance of celebrating veterans, is reason why we continue to push for the biggest, mightiest military in the world, like out of respect for why veterans fought to begin with. as if they fought for, like I said, as if they fought for us to continue war into the future and to always be able to be the biggest, strongest, badass military in the world. And I want to push back on that because I don't think that veterans, people who previously who fought in, World War One or World War Two or um, uh, uh, Vietnam or even the Gulf War, like I don't think that those people fought in those wars expecting or even hoping that we would always be fighting in wars. I feel like a lot of them hoped that when they were fighting that war, whether they lived or not, or didn't live through it, that it would be the last war. I don't think most people go into a war and live through those atrocities scarred for life, expecting that when they come back, they're ready to go back at another war. That they're hoping and urging for us to get into another fight. Hoping that more people will be sent into those same conditions. At least I don't feel that that is like an overwhelming sense of veteran perception of why they fought to begin with. That there would always be some like fear or threat to our proclaimed freedoms, and we would always need to engage in war. That's the reason why we changed to the Department of Defense after World War II, because the idea was that it was so, like the engagement between World War I and World War II is like, we do not want this kind of thing to happen again. So we need to be more on the side of, like, instead of offensive, we need to be more defensive, trying to de-escalate things, try to work out things so that we don't get into wars after wars after wars. That was the sentiment. But this administration has decided to reverse that. And then and because there's a growing sentiment in those in the nations who feel that they have some sort of power or right to power, that we need to look at further wars and getting into further wars, constantly sending. It's the reason why they're wanting to continuously bring people into the military. They're wanting to up those numbers, where we have been little by little reducing the amount of people that we needed in the military, because we were, the idea, I feel like, was, or at least I hope the idea was, that we were trying to de-escalate in getting into wars. But now we're trying to ramp up the idea of getting into more wars. And now I feel like it's being used that veterans, a day like this, when we're supposed to celebrate veterans that, and from past wars, and, living through those wars, surviving those wars, or even those who didn't, respecting and giving remembrance to them, how, we wish they would have lived through them. We wished it would have never even happened, that they wouldn't have had to go into those wars, or weren't forced to go into those wars, whatever you feel of it. And being used as a reason for us propagating more wars. And I find that a very grotesque and concerning opinion and usage for celebrating today. And I just wanted to bring like that alertness for those who may not be seeing it. That while this day is a beautiful day to respect those who lost their lives in past, or those who lived, survived. Keeping that as the focus of this day is, I feel, the utmost importance. And not allowing for this day to be scapegoated or taken or corrupted by those who want to use it as a means to create more war, to create more veterans. And like I said, I know that some of this may be seeming like it could, some things I've said could be controversial. I hope not. I hope that you would understand what I'm saying here. And I'm not trying to like drown on this day. I think that the majority of people understand the real reason for this day. But to then take this day and use it as a reason to like be overtly over the top, prideful, delusionarily like patriotic, where I don't feel that that's really true patriotism. In like praising America for those actions that we took. Especially when some of those actions were not necessarily honorable. Especially in more recent times. There were other things that I wanted to kind of also I considered placing in here, but I'm not sure that it's necessary. Yes, I was just sort of throwing this off the top of my head. If you know me, a lot of my videos kind of do that. I kind of wing it. I hope that you didn't take any of this the wrong way. And I hope you understand that I truly do. You know, even though I chose not to go into the military, even though I was attempted, I was one of two people in my school at the year I, graduated that was asked to go into the military. And as far as I know, neither one of us did. But it was because I didn't agree with the prospect of going to war for the country when I just could not trust, even then, what we were being sent to war for. And why I would be being asked to potentially take the lives of somebody. I'm not a violent person. I'm very much anti-violent, anti-war, anti-military, really. I would like to see a reduction in our military. I would like to see a reduction in servicemen needed or whatever. And not just for the United States, all across the world. I would like to see a reduction in all of that. Understand, the disclaimer here of me and my character. Maybe that would help to understand why I've said what I've said in this video. But again, that's not to say or put anything against those who choose to do so. Especially when they choose to do it for the right reasons. Or the perceived right reasons, at least. So, thank you very much again to our veterans all across the country, all across the world, active or non-active, alive or lost. Much love and respect, and let's please not let this day be used for creating more. I guess that's the easiest way to sum up what I've said here. Thank you very much. And until next time, peace. ClearTalk. I'm out.